with all of you today. I'm so happy to be together with other individuals that are doing similar work in other states. Thank you for putting this on. I hope you continue to do it every single year. I'm the Director of Operational Excellence for the state of Missouri. It's a statewide role, and so I'm going to be going into sharing how we're structured, how we formed. I'm about as motivational as Chris Farley, so sorry to follow Julie. That's all I could think about. It's like, oh my gosh, motivational, this one. And all I could think about was Chris Farley and the best Saturday Night Live skit ever. So we can also talk faith, family, but I'll talk Chiefs football with you anytime. So alrighty, I'm going to talk to you today about Missouri's transformation journey. This is something I get super, super excited about. We have a lot to be proud of. I'm going to be talking about how we are driving forward to be as good as any other organization. We're focusing on several key areas to get there. And here is our true north. We want to be as good as any organization. So sometimes that's hard for our state team members to wrap their heads around, like, what do you mean we're state government? We do state government things. So we want to be the best contact center. We want to be the best driver's license agency in the nation. Trying to get our state team members to think about who is good at what you do and go find out how they do it. Learn from them. So trying to wrap their heads around that. We want to meet Missouri citizens' expectations so that we're as good as any organization, more transparent, citizen-friendly, efficient, focused, and accountable. Our transformation journey is guiding our efforts with equal emphasis in performance, organizational health, and capability building. We cannot do this if we drop the ball in any of these three areas, like we've heard today and yesterday. Team member and culture is going to help us drive that. If we forget about that, solely focus on performance, we're not going to get there. So these are our big three questions that we have been guiding us. Where are we heading? How should our leaders lead? Which is where our talent management team is really helping us drive forward. And how will we get better? So I'm going to be talking today about several programs, management initiatives that the state of Missouri has put in place over the past couple years to help us along this transformation journey. It is a hugely team effort. We have individuals in our Division of Personnel, which is our central HR office for the state of Missouri. Very talented team that has completely transformed how they do HR in the state of Missouri and are helping us get better every single day. So we have a great collaboration with that team and our operational excellence community, which I'll talk about. This is our structure for operational excellence. I'm at the state level. We have department OpEx leaders in every single department with 16 different departments. They don't report to me. 5 of them are here with me today. Thank you for coming. Woohoo! Missouri is represented well. Our department OpEx programs vary by department. They don't look, every single one looks a little different. They might be a single person trying to drive change in that department, or they might have a full slate of team members working with them. Anything from a deputy OpEx leader to a dashboard administrator to a process improvement coordinator. But we're still fairly early in our journey. I'm happy that we now have a new position reporting to me as a Director of Citizen Engagement for the state, and then a dotted line to a state Tableau manager, which I'll talk about as well. So we are in year 5 of our OpEx journey. I'm not gonna go into all of this in detail. I'm gonna be conscious of time. But our program was formed in 2019, fiscal year 19. And the architect of our program is right here with us, Mr. Drew Erdman. And so he did the heavy lifting to get this started, to really usher in all of the management initiatives that we have undertaken over the past couple years. And I'm sure he was met with a ton of resistance. We couldn't spell operational excellence before he came on the scene. So, but we had our first OpEx director named. We had some initial investments in training. And then we kind of branded the effort with Show Me Excellence, so you'll hear that a lot. We've hosted a summit each year. And then fiscal 23, this current year, really excited that we were able to get core funding to support department OpEx leaders in every single department. We got good funding, really significant funding to help pay for Tableau at an enterprise level. Otherwise, it probably would have been, not been going on because agencies would have said we can't afford it. So governor's office was extremely supportive of getting that state level funding. And then a brand new citizen engagement program that was funded, which I'll talk about as well. So what do? I call it our Show Me Excellence community. It's not just me, it's not just our department OpEx leaders. We are very inclusive with this community, but we are focused on three things: capability building. We have annual strategic initiatives that we work together, and then there's consistent collaboration at multiple levels. So this is the framework for our OpEx community. The capability building I'm going to be talking about throughout the presentation. There's a lot of slides here. I'm not going to go through all of these in details because you'll have them available later. But we have the annual summit, regular training, partnering with our talent management team, that division of personnel. That's something that we have put together with them to have a monthly learning framework and communication to the entire state workforce to focus on key areas each month. I'm going to skip to the annual state level strategic initiatives. This is what drives the work of our state operational excellence team. And I don't have a back office of people supporting me with state OpEx. I have the department OpEx leaders that have their jobs, but then they also help at a state level. So without that, we couldn't do what we're doing. And so each and every year, we are looking at what are our top priorities for the coming year. And we get the OpEx community brainstorms those ideas. Then we take them to the cabinet, to the governor's office to get ownership and buy-in. And so this year, we have a customer service center performance initiative. We have some of our centers that are not performing well. And then also I'm going to talk extensively about how we're taking action on our organizational health survey. And then also capability building. We're continually looking at ways we can build out that training for our team members. To keep this machine running, we have a lot of regular collaboration, weekly OpEx huddles with me and my department OpEx leaders, monthly in-person meetings for planning, problem solving, and collaboration. And then I'm extremely happy that I get time every single month at the governor's cabinet meeting. It is extremely beneficial to keep us all aligned and to ask for help where I need it. If I need cabinet leaders to help emphasize, promote, support their department OpEx leaders, I have an opportunity to do that every month, so that's great. Okay, so I'm going to go into each of these three areas and how we're building out programs to help us along our transformation journey. I'm going to start with organizational health. Our quarterly pulse survey really is one of the foundational programs of Org Health Initiative. Our talent management team and our division of personnel leads it. We did a baseline assessment in 2017. We launched QPS, or the Quarterly Pulse Survey, in 2018. And we're getting ready in October, we're gonna do our 15th survey. In 2022, we really took a lot more, I think, intentional approach into how we're using that data. I'm gonna talk about that. But in case you're interested, I have some metrics here on the survey participation. We range anywhere from 40 to 50% statewide. High variation by individual departments. We do have 10 of our 16 departments that do average over 50%. So that is encouraging, but you can see the variation anywhere from 20 to 95% on a department-wide basis. So here are some results since we started measuring with that baseline assessment in 2017 over these 5 outcome areas: direction, leadership, accountability, motivation, external orientation. We ask a set list of questions every 6 months. We'll focus on different outcome areas every 6 months. So we're able to see how we're progressing twice a year in all of these areas. So anywhere from 6% to a 14%, and these are statewide numbers. They're not one department. This is the entire state. Okay. This is a brand new graphic. Nobody even knows that I put it in this deck because it's still a work in progress, but that's okay because you're not going to tell anybody, right? So one of the things we're trying to figure out how to do better is share how we're using team member feedback. If we're not using the data, we're not sharing how we're using the data, people are going to check out. And so we are working on communication strategies and other things which you'll see, but we want to be able to tell the team members how we're using it. Our budget director was able to talk about QPS feedback whenever he went and advocated for a 5.5% pay increase for team members earlier this year. That data was really helpful. We have training, capability building, rewards recognition programs that have been spun up, and then a ton of professional development that has been spun up as a result of actual QPS data. Okay, so where are OpEx leaders from all of our departments leaning in on this area? So this chart kind of speaks for itself. This is July of 2020. This is when we brought Tableau on as our enterprise data visualization solution. These are the QPS dashboard clicks for every quarterly pulse survey. So each line, each bar is a quarter. So looking at this, obviously disappointed in the use. It's like, why are we asking all these people to fill out this survey if we're not even going to look at it? Sure, you had people looking at it, but are we using it statewide? So we identified this as a problem. Our problem statement that we set forth to work on is how can our OpEx community, our department OpEx leaders, help guide their departments in efforts to improve organizational health by creating best practices and resources to help make that QPS data actionable. So we engaged our OpEx leaders, key members of our talent management team. They're a lot smarter than I am and can do all the data analytics work. But here's the results once we started putting some of our deliverables in place. We're planning to expand access to data. This is a work in progress. We're going to have a new website that all of our team members are going to be able to access. QPS.mo.gov is in the works and coming soon. And we got approval from the governor's office to have high-level data, statewide, interactive Tableau dashboard on a public site for some of our state-level metrics. That's something that we haven't done before. You're going to see varying degrees of transparency across the departments. You have some departments that are extremely transparent with their data, and you have some departments that lock it down. And that's culture. So we're going to do it statewide. One of the things that we've done to help equip our OpEx leaders is have quarterly deep dives with those OpEx leaders, bringing all of our data analysts in from our talent management team, making sure they bring their laptops to a working session, pull up their dashboards. Here's how you use the dashboards. Here's how you can filter, sort for your results. Here's what the statewide results look like for this quarter. Here's where we're trending as a state. Here's some key findings on a state level. Here's a secret sauce question. Love the secret sauce questions that Alyssa Bish on our team comes up with. If we're doing really well here, we do well everywhere. She comes up with those great insights. I love those. Anyway, it brings all of our OpEx leaders together every quarter to look at the data share if they're willing to share. Some of them are not. And that's a function of the culture that they have back in their department. But we're trying to create that openness and transparency so that they can share with each other about what they're doing to use this data within their departments. Some of our departments have reinvigorated what we're calling influencer teams, to where we have team members nominate other individuals in the department that they trust and they respect and they feel like they can speak on their behalf. Talk to Melody Reichel about this. She's leading our Office of Administration influencer teams to develop recommendations. So we're asking frontline team members, how do we get better on rewards recognition? How do we get better at motivation? So those influencer teams develop recommendations to present up to leadership. So these are some of the things we're doing with the Quarterly Pulse survey, but I really feel like this is the heartbeat. If we don't get this right, we're gonna fail on a lot of efforts. Okay, moving on to performance. So I feel like I skipped slides. Yeah, that looks weird. Okay. We have an operational excellence cycle. I think it should have been right there, but it's missing. That leads and guides us on how we plan, measure, set targets, have performance discussions, create accountabilities, and then start it all again. So that is our cycle of continuous improvement. At the top of that cycle is the planning piece. We have a framework statewide on how we do planning. So what you see here is what we call a department placemat. Each department is going to have a little different look and feel, and that's okay. But it starts out with their high-level vision or aspiration, the key focus areas that they're working on, and their strategic initiatives. And every single one of these initiatives has an initiative team with a team lead to back it up and help do the work. I've included several websites here if you want to go take a look. We have all of our department placemats online. So how do we roll out our placemats? So they're updated once a year. Our OpEx leaders are playing a key role in assisting their department leadership in the creation, development, monitoring, reporting to make sure that those initiatives are actually getting done. And then we have a great initiative team boot camp training that's available to assist all of our initiative teams get ready to do their work. Okay. Data dashboards. I don't think we could spell dashboard before Drew came either. Like, what's that? Or if we had one, it was inadequate, I'm sure. So we have transformed from doing dashboards in PowerPoint. Thank you, Jesus. We don't have to do dashboards in PowerPoint anymore. I remember that as we didn't have a tool like Tableau. So we've made that transition. All the departments are using that feature. And we have a statewide intranet page for the departments to upload their current dashboards. We keep all the archived dashboards there, but that's done on a monthly basis. So in order to get here, though, there was a huge investment in training on performance measures and what does good look like with performance measures. The investment in technology with Tableau was also a huge turning point, and that was an opportunity that we took advantage of during COVID. We didn't have a solution like that, so we were able to get in with some COVID funding to get that started. And then transparency is huge here. We have created a culture where departments share their dashboards with each other. And I know that that probably wasn't easy early on, but it is something that has continued. In fact, next month in our October cabinet meeting, department leaders are going to be asked to bring their dashboards to that meeting and share a few of their key measures. So really glad that we have the support to keep that going. Our use of Tableau just keeps continue to grow, which is great considering the investment that we have in it. So we started in July of 2020. This is August of 22. Just the usage just keeps continuing to grow and expand. We have enterprise level dashboards in Tableau, which are available to all state departments to use. And then we have the expansion varies, of course, by department, depending on how much they have embraced or have the resources to build them out. But we have everything down to, departments, divisions, individual programs that are using the technology. So in 2021, this was one of our statewide priorities, was expanding our use of Tableau and fostering a community so that they could be successful. So building capabilities and community of Tableau users, how we went about that, we have monthly state Tableau user group meetings that's hosted by Joe Kirby, who's our statewide Tableau manager. We have office hours hosted by Tableau experts at least twice a month, and these are Tableau users, power users that are volunteering their time to help other Tableau users throughout the whole enterprise. We have annual Tableau Day and a lot of training resources. So this community has really grown and blossomed since we brought on the solution. And what's encouraging is that they're willing to help each other out. So that's great. Creating the transparency, using our dashboards. So there's some examples of internal enterprise level dashboards with our QPS data. Brand new is our customer service center dashboard, bringing metrics for 26 contact centers into one central dashboard. That's been the latest project. Talent management, workers' comp data also, and then we're also trying to expand our public-facing dashboard so that we can be more transparent. Okay. New Citizen Experience Program. Brand new, just got the money this year, which we're excited about. We're going to have, we have one resource dedicated to running it right now. These are our program objectives. I'm not going to read them to you. You can check them out later, but aligning and elevating the vision across the enterprise, empowering champions with agencies, learning and growing so that we can scale it out throughout the enterprise, creating that data transparency, also very important. We want an enterprise level dashboard that we have access to, and customer-centric data. So continually listening to the voice of the customer. So tactical, this is the part that I like and I want to share. How are we doing it? So all that's great, but how are you gonna do it? So enterprise level software solution, we have the money for that. Enterprise level program and dashboard. We hired the director of the program. We're gonna have state level branding. So I know Maryland has some state level branding that's easily identified by citizens. So no matter where they're at, if they're in a licensed office, if they're on a website, if they're in an app, whatever, we want them to be able to identify that branding. That's a cue to them that they can provide feedback to us. Multi-channel survey solutions. We have picked 3 departments to go first. And our goal is that all departments have at least one touch point measured within 2 years of our program. We're just getting started, so it's gonna be fun to watch this one. Okay. Capability building. This is the last of our 3-legged stool. All right, Missouri Way training. This is Drew's baby. Drew has probably flashbacks of doing 3-day sessions of the Missouri Way training. So whenever he entered the scene, and I've been a 30-year state employee, so I can speak to this, there was a huge void in leadership development. There was none. And so found that it was extremely important to create a program. It's called the Missouri Way. Drew did this by himself, did 3-day sessions. I don't know how many times. Drew, do you know? 9, 10? Yep. Yeah, it was Practically nothing. Yeah. 3 days. Yep. Yeah. Yeah. It was pretty impressive. I can remember walking out of Missouri Way training and my mind was like, oh, and then that night my mind was racing with all the things that I learned. So great training. During COVID, of course, in-person training came to a halt, determined that we needed to get this recorded and virtual so that we have it. So now we do have the equivalent of the Missouri Way training, of course, without the in-person activities and such. Recorded, it's in our Mo Learning platform, which is LinkedIn Learning. And so it is available, and it is being used and especially helpful for some leadership onboarding. Also with capability building, we built out our own white belt. This is basic problem-solving skills for every state team member. We did not make it required, but the 4 skill sets that we were trying to encourage is just a 30-minute orientation to these four skill sets: process mapping, 5S, Kanban, and 5 Whys. So as of last week, over 28% of our team, our 9,800 team members, have completed the training. And as you can see, just like QPS scores or anything else, leadership culture is important. If leadership is not saying this is important, people aren't going to do it. So you have each bar represents one department. So you have everything from 100% to practically nothing. So we have that variation, of course. All right, learning framework. This is a collaboration with our talent management team members in the Division of Personnel. This is monthly training that's available to any team member. And I remember building this out late last year. We have a theme for each month. Some of these themes are definitely operational excellence themes. We have Initiative Team Boot Camp, like I mentioned before, that training. Meaningful metrics. Show Me Excellence in October is going to be our Show Me Excellence month. Citizen Impact, Rapid Improvements. So we are building out training each and every month, for these topic areas. There's recommended training that a team member can do every week. There's a live training session every month. So team members see this quite often. Okay. And day I'm excited about, we have our Show Me Excellence Summit coming up October 4th. All of you are welcome to join. It's virtual. It's free. Hopefully you saw an invite on NASCA. Collaborate, and I sent it out in an email form too. If you want the invite, please let me know. But we have a great lineup of thought leaders and breakout sessions as well. I'm especially excited about Amy Edmondson speaking on psychological safety. That's something that is near and dear to me right now. Without that, we're not going to have a culture of continuous improvement if our team members are fearful of speaking up. So that one is the one I'm most looking forward to. October is Show Me Excellence Month. For us, we stole this idea from Nebraska, so thank you, Nebraska. I don't know that they're here this week. But we have, the governor has declared October as Show Me Excellence Month for the last 2 years. And then we have state team members leading in with training all throughout the month of October. We have our Smarter Not Harder series. This reaches about 10,000 supervisors and managers each month. This is also a collaboration with our talent management team. And it's just simple, quick tips on how to make your work life better. We find a team member that's willing to share. They share the tip, they share their story, they share training resources or other information. And it hits about 10,000 team members every month. And so how do we know if we're doing this right and we're making an impact? And so that's always a question I think that we're all asking ourselves. We have our QPS data, that's one element. We have our department dashboards. But I just wanted to share these quotes, and our OpEx leaders haven't seen these yet. So in July, our cabinet leaders were asked the question, over the last 4 years, what is the most positive change that you have witnessed in your agency or in state government? And there were 16 possible responses, and here's a few. So for some of our cabinet, they're believers, they're true believers, and they're supportive. We have some that, of course, are probably not quite there yet, but the one that is the favorite one to me is this bottom one. There's genuine belief that big positive change is possible and will be supported. I love that. We know from our QPS survey that over 80% of our team members statewide respond with that question, about caring deeply, like I care deeply about the fate of the organization. And that's something that in public service, I think that we can leverage. Our team members care about what they're doing, about how they're making an impact. So I think that that's something that we can all grab a hold of and use as a source of motivation for our team. So, but those are the words of our cabinet. So they are getting into that rhythm. What we want to do is create a culture like this is just how we work. We plan, we measure, we improve, and we do it all over again. And we're getting there. It's not perfect at all, but we're getting there. These two ladies are dear friends and colleagues of mine, our talent management rock stars, Casey Osterkamp and Alyssa Bish, brilliant women that are helping lead on the talent side, and we partner very closely with them. Everything that you see, we're touching, we're collaborating on, so I consider them to be incredible partners. Okay, so all very tactical. That's what we're doing in the state of Missouri. I wanted to leave time in case anybody had any questions, but that is our journey. That's where we've been, and proud of the progress that we made, but know that there's still work to do. So, does anybody have any questions? Yay. Awesome. You put it on your plan, you'll do it. That's all right. You're worth waiting for. Any questions? Yes. Yeah. Yeah. It's between 50 and 60%. Mm-hmm. Yep. All right. Thanks for letting me share. Thank you.